Okay, I don't really know how to start this without sounding pathetic, so I'll just say it out loud the way it's been rattling in my head. I think my wife has been cheating on me. Or, no, that's a lie I keep telling myself. I know she has. I just didn't know it yet. Back then, when all this started. We've been married 8 years. Not newlyweds, not ancient. Long enough to build habits. Long enough to stop checking in with each other every 5 minutes. We used to be solid. Boring, maybe, but solid. Sunday groceries, dumb inside jokes. Her stealing the blankets at night and pretending she didn't. Normal stuff. That's why this hit so hard. There wasn't one big explosion at first. It was off notes, static. She got sharp with me, like aggressively annoyed over nothing. I'd ask how her day was, and she'd snap, "Why do you always interrogate me?" Interrogate. That word stuck. She started guarding her phone like it was classified information. Screen face down. Bathroom trips with it, smiling at texts and then going flat the second she noticed me watching. And yeah, I told myself all the cliches. Stress at work, hormones, midlife restlessness. I wanted a clean explanation because the dirty one scared the hell out of me. But there was this feeling, like when you walk into a room and know a fight just happened even though no one's talking. I remember thinking, if something big happens, I'll know. I didn't realize how suddenly big could arrive. So the discovery wasn't cinematic. No lipstick on a collar, no walking in on them tangled up. It was stupid, small, one of those moments you replay 1,000 times because you hate how ordinary it was. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. That alone wasn't new. What was new was the name, or actually, the lack of one. Just a first name, no emoji, no context. And the message preview popped up because she'd forgotten to turn notifications off for once. Can't stop thinking about last night. I just stood there. I remember the kettle screaming behind me, boiling itself dry, and I didn't move. My brain tried to be helpful, like, relax. Could be a coworker, could be about drinks. But my chest already knew. That tight, sinking drop like the floor gave up. I didn't open the phone. I swear I didn't. I wanted to pretend I was better than that. But then another message came in. "When can I see you again?" And I laughed, out loud, like an idiot, because suddenly it was too much. She came out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, hair dripping, already annoyed about something. She saw my face and froze. That pause, man, that pause told me everything. Before I said a word, she snatched the phone, flipped it over, and said, "Why are you staring at my stuff like a creep?" That was it. Not confusion, not concern. Attack. I asked, "Who's that?" Calm voice, somehow. She rolled her eyes and said it was nothing, then immediately changed it to someone from work, then told me I was paranoid and insecure and ruining her morning. 3 versions in under 10 seconds. That's when I knew I wasn't imagining things. I didn't need proof anymore. I needed air. The confrontation didn't happen like I planned because I didn't plan one. It just exploded. I followed her into the bedroom, still trying to breathe normally, and I said, "Don't lie to me." That's all. Not, "Who is he?" Not, "Are you cheating?" Just don't lie. She laughed. Actually laughed, like I told a bad joke. Then she said, "Oh my God, you're being dramatic." That was her first move. Minimize. Then she got dressed fast, angry fast, yanking jeans on like she was late for a fire. I asked again who the guy was. She said I was obsessed. She said it was a friend. I asked why a friend, couldn't stop thinking about last night. That's when she snapped. Full switch. She said I was snooping, invading her privacy, projecting my own issues. Somehow, in under a minute, I was the villain. Then, this is burned into my brain, she said, if I were cheating, it'd be because you're impossible to live with. Hypothetical, weaponized. I told her to unlock the phone. She refused. Said I didn't deserve trust if I demanded proof. Then she stormed past me, grabbed her keys, and announced she was going out to cool down. That phrase, like she wasn't the one overheating the room. I followed her to the door and said, "If you walk out right now, don't bother lying when you come back." She stopped, turned around, looked me straight in the eye and said, "Nothing is happening. You're ruining everything." Then she left anyway. Door slam. Silence. 5 minutes later, her tablet lit up on the couch. Same name. Different message. "He's suspicious. Be careful." That was the moment the denial died. I don't know how long I sat there staring at that tablet. Time did this weird folding thing, like everything slowed down, but my heart was sprinting. I remember my hands shaking so badly I had to sit on them. I wasn't even crying yet. I was hollow, like someone scooped me out and forgot to put anything back in. Then the anger hit. Not the movie kind where you punch walls. It was sharper, meaner. Thoughts I didn't recognize as mine. Every memory suddenly re-edited itself. Late nights. Girls' dinners. The way she'd started showering the second she got home. I felt stupid, complicit, like I'd helped her get away with it by being trusting. I yelled at nobody. I paced. I checked the door every time a car passed. Then I hated myself for hoping she'd come back fast so I could scream at her. When she finally did, hours later, the anger collapsed into something heavier. Sadness, I guess, or grief. Because that version of my wife, the one I thought I had, was already gone. She walked in like nothing happened. No apology, no fear, just irritated, like I'd inconvenienced her day. And that hurt more than the messages. I realized I wasn't competing with another man. I was competing with her indifference. That night, lying next to her while she scrolled her phone, I felt unbearably alone. Same bed, different worlds, and that's when it settled in. Even if she stopped, even if she begged, something inside me had cracked. Not loudly, quietly, the kind of break that doesn't heal straight. The decision didn't come in a big, dramatic moment. No suitcase packed in a rage. It came the next morning while I was brushing my teeth, staring at my own face like I was meeting a stranger. I realized I was exhausted, not just tired, but worn down from doubting my reality. From having to translate every sentence she said into what it might really mean. We talked, if you can call it that. I told her I knew. I didn't show the tablet. I didn't need to. She denied it at first, reflexively, like muscle memory. Then she shifted, said it wasn't serious, said it just happened, said I'd been distant, that she felt lonely, that she didn't think I'd care this much. Each excuse arrived perfectly shaped to deflect blame. Not once did she say sorry without immediately explaining why it wasn't entirely her fault. I suggested counseling. She shrugged, literally shrugged. That tiny movement felt louder than all the shouting before. I asked if she wanted to stay married. She said, "I don't know," like I'd asked what she wanted for dinner. That was it. I told her I was done chasing clarity from someone committed to fog. I said I was moving out for a while. She cried then. Real tears, finally. But even those felt late, like damage control instead of regret. I left with a duffel bag and a calm I didn't trust. But underneath it was something solid, self-respect, wobbling but alive. So yeah, that's where I am now, talking to strangers because somehow it's easier than talking to people who know us. Because they still say she seems nice or marriage is hard, like that explains betrayal. I'm not here to pretend I handled this perfectly. I didn't. I ignored signs because I was afraid of the answer. I wanted comfort more than truth, and that cost me time. What I learned, painfully, is that lies don't always sound dramatic. Sometimes they sound casual, annoyed, defensive. And when someone keeps making you feel crazy for asking simple questions, that's not miscommunication. That's erosion. Bit by bit, they wear away your confidence until you stop trusting your own gut. I also learned that love doesn't survive contempt. The cheating hurt, obviously, but the way she talked to me afterward, that did the real damage. Being dismissed, minimized, treated like an obstacle instead of a partner, that's what finally ended it. If I could give advice, it'd be this. Pay attention to how someone reacts when you're vulnerable, not when things are easy. If honesty makes them angry, if your pain irritates them, listen to that. Don't wait for undeniable proof if your heart already knows. I don't know what comes next, but I do know this. Being alone is quieter than living with a lie. And right now, quiet feels like healing.